So today I wanted to talk again about loading the 32 Rimfire, or should I say the 32, the 38, the 41, maybe some others if you get creative enough. If you've watched my earlier video on loading 32, it explains a lot of how to go about it and what I felt was the right way to do things, and or at least a good way to do things. Since then, I've come to learn a bit more, and I've done some more experiments, and I thought I should bring an update. I don't think in that first video I had mentioned that you can load, 32, 38, and 41 all with these kits. This kit's a 41 Rimfire loading kit from HC. It's the same thing, just a different size. They're very handy, a little pricey, but you can bring back, all these old obsolete Rimfire calibers. The only thing I found with this one is it's geared towards the 41 short, and most of the pistols I have would take a standard 41 Rimfire. Unfortunately, this one only does the short, which, if you were to look at that, is really short. That's quite the stubby little bullet in there. For comparison, a sec here. That's a 38, standard 38 Rimfire, or a 32 long, and both of which are substantially more powder capacity. And then there's a 32 short, which is actually still longer than the 41 short. Having said that, the 41 does provide a fair bit of pop for such a small package. I'm surprised at how much bang there is. Anyway, back to what I wanted to talk about. When you're loading these, some of the stuff I don't think I'd mentioned in the last video was, washing them. Make sure to wash them after you're done. It seems like common sense, especially if you're using black powder, but sometimes it's easy to forget, and believe me, if you forget about that after you've shot black powder through them, it won't be long before they're in rough shape. So you want to clean them up every time you use them. I like to rotary tumble mine, but sometimes I'll just wash them with soap and water. So something else I've learned, these kits, they come with a little lever. Here, just a sec. This may take me a moment to dig out. Wasn't planning on digging it out, but you guys should see it. Fat Fingers little box. Oh, there we go. So they come with this pin, and typically what you're supposed to do is take your cartridge, you're empty, put it in here, and use this to push the primer out, or the blank that you use to load this. I've found that doesn't always work real well. I mean, most of the time it will work, especially if you're using the suggested little acorn blanks. But as I showed in my last video, every now and again these things have a tendency to pop out. So I've experimented with other options. Right now, my personal favorite is to pull the bullet out of a 22 short and just use that with your black powder. They don't have a tendency to blow out the back, at least not that I've seen yet. They've been pretty good, although I do mostly shoot ball tapped into the cartridge, as I've mentioned in the first video, except for the 41. 41, I'll use these big slugs, but I only shoot it in one pistol anyway, so sizing's not a big deal. But I usually shoot the round ball. Now, I want to try these a bit more with a full-size bullet, and see how well they hold up. I've done it a couple times, and so far they've been good. And the beauty about these is they're a little harder to get out, especially if you're trying to use this little bar. I've come to realize that some real punches help, and sometimes I'm not doing it at the range. A lot of the time I'll load right at the range. As I'm shooting, I'll just load and keep shooting, but I've learned that sometimes it's easier to just come home, and I'll take these cartridges sometimes if they're a little bit bunged up and don't want to come apart, and I'll open the jaws on the vise just enough to catch the lip on either side, and then I'll use a real punch and tap it out, and that works pretty good. Of course, I don't have a vise in the field, and big punches are hard to use in the field, so do with it what you want. But I find that a good thing to have some, not expensive punches, just real punches. I've also had it where it was bad enough that this actually punched a hole right through the blank, and then I was really buggered. There was no way I was getting that out with this little rod, and that's where those came in again. I was able to get that out despite having had a hole punched right through it. Something else I've tried is blanks, 22 blanks. Now, I don't recommend just trying them willy-nilly. They are smokeless load inside. I don't know how much. I've only tried them in the 38s. I have not tried them in a 32, and the reason for that is case volume. Being smokeless, they'll fit in here, although they're a little, don't give you a lot of room, but they do fit. But they're fairly large, and there isn't a lot of volume to eat up any excess pressure. Where the 38, you can see that there's a little extra room in there, and that pressure, it's not going to be as significant because of that extra space. But the downside to using those, I should say another upside, is that if you're doing that, you're not getting great performance, but you're getting a bang. The bullet's going down range at a reasonable clip, and you're not making a mess of things because it's clean. It's not black powder. It's smokeless, and it's relatively clean. The big issue comes with what happens to a blank after you shoot it inside there. If this was in a rifled barrel, it would be held together by the barrel. But because it has all that space inside to expand it does. And it splits and mushrooms. And this was actually way more open before I pounded it out of the case. That, again, if you decide to try this, is where having a real punch comes in. Because the only way I was going to get these out was by wiggling a punch into them, putting the edges, the shoulder of the bullet, or the brass on the vise open just enough to hold it there, and then pound these out. It takes a fair bit of force, but they will pop out, and they don't seem to damage the case at all. I am curious to try them, on a smaller cartridge like the 32, but again, I'm being leery because of the smaller case volume, potentially higher pressures. I do not want to wreck a gun. I don't want to wreck my hand, my face. I wear safety glasses, but you never know, right? If a gun comes apart, it could be ugly. So I don't necessarily recommend that. But it is something, if you got a substantially strong gun and something you're comfortable trying it in, then, you could try that. There were a lot of 32s that were made up until the 1920s and 30s, especially in the rifles, not so much the pistols. And I would try that in a rifle in a heartbeat, me personally. But again, the other problem you're going to have, you got to use the long. If you're trying to use the short, you're not going to fit a bullet in there. The blank is as long as the cartridge. Hilti shot was something else that I've heard guys using. Low-powered Hilti shot, not the high-powered stuff. But to do that, you'd have to modify your cases because the cases are a little big. Or sorry, say the Hilti cases are a little big to fit in here. They call it 22, but it's more like 23. Anyway, again, my personal favorite at the moment is these 22 shorts. A little more expensive than the Acorn blanks, but they seem way more reliable. But, you know, bang for buck, these work too. They work really good, and I've never had them come out when I'm shooting a round ball. So keep that in mind. When I showed in the first video that blowing out the back end and, you know, getting bunged up behind the cylinder, that was with a full powered load on a 32 long. So like full power, full weight bullet, the most pressure that cartridge is ever going to see. And that's where this one got a little dicey. But I don't think that will happen with this. It hasn't happened yet. Sorry, this video is a little random in the order of everything. But something else I wanted to make mention. The 38s. These kits, they work really good. But they're, you know, pretty pricey. I've heard you can use a 38 Smith & Wesson Lee loader kit, and they will load the rimfires just fine, seat the bullet, you know, crimp them, whatever. And they're a fraction of the price of one of these HC kits. You can find them on Amazon usually. So keep that in mind for the 38 rimfire. And then I also wanted to make mention of other cartridges, like the 30 rimfire. There are no commercially available reloadable cases for 30 rimfire, but I've been doing some research and had plans on trying it, and then I sold my 30 rimfire and never have tried it yet, but one day I might, using 22 Hornet brass. So this is a 22 Hornet, and I don't have any just brass right now. I just have a fully loaded cartridge. But the base of this is a little smaller than this 32. It's actually a perfect fit for 30. And of course, you have to drill that out and machine it out to give it a spot like this to put a blank in. But using this brass, I feel I should be able to make a 30 rimfire, make it serviceable again. And I have a fella that I am acquainted with in Eastern Canada. I won't use his name because I haven't talked to him about using it. But he seems like a brilliant man. And that's what I believe he did. I saw some pictures. I had already had the idea of trying it out, and I think he's gone and done it, where he sent me some pictures of 30 rimfire that he's brought back to life, and did a heck of a job. I'm impressed and look forward to trying it someday too. So just keep that in mind. Just because they don't make something for you, it's nothing to say you can't make it yourself. I've even been looking at little lathes just off of AliExpress that aren't good for much, but they'll spin off some small brass pieces and might be suitable for making custom brass. It'd be slow and tedious, but hey, you know what? You don't shoot antiques for speed and efficiency. If you want that, you'll use a modern pistol. Anyway, hope this was helpful. If I think of more stuff, I'll do another follow-up because I get a lot of questions on these rimfires. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoy bringing it to you. If you did, please like and subscribe. Recommend me to other people. That'd be great. Look forward to bringing you guys more. And yeah, till then, have a good one.